Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Good morning. It is 9 a.m. on this Sunday, July 6th, and it's been 2 days since the devastating and tragic floods occurred in the Hill Country. And just want to take a moment to breathe.
Yeah.
This has been hard, it's been hard for everybody. And my hearts just go out to all the families of their loved ones who either have been found deceased or are still looking for them. We are with you, and that is why we have been going wall-to-wall coverage to bring you guys the latest and to keep our community up to date.
And speaking of bringing you the latest right here again, that flooding happened this past weekend. We're going to take a look at some numbers of what we know as of right now.
At least 43 people are dead. 28 of them are adults. 15 of them are children. And it's an unknown number of the people that remained missing at this time. 12 adults and 5 children have not been identified of those 43 that are dead. Plus, hundreds of rescues have taken place. As far as we know, crews are continuing to search at this hour. We were told yesterday they began recovery efforts at 8 a.m. If you're looking for a family member in Kerr County and you want to report them missing, call this number on your screen, 830-258-1111. Make sure you tell them your loved one's last known location. And I also want to put in there that we know 27 kids from Camp Mystic are still missing. That we know that because that is a camp where they knew how many campers were there. That unknown number of still missing because they cannot track at this time how many people were along the river when all this rain came down. And Sarah, you've done a great job really explaining the amount of water that came down that area, and we'll get to Sarah Spivey in just a second. But the community also mourning several lives that were lost as a result of these floods.
We're still learning more from this morning, but again, one group, Humble ISD, posting this late last night that they are grieving the loss of one of their staff members, Jeff Wilson. This post to social media states that he worked for about 30 years at both Humble High School and Kingwood Park High School. It also states that Jeff's brother-in-law says that his wife, Amber, and son, Shiloh, still considered missing at this time. President Donald Trump took to social media as well Saturday to offer sympathy for the victims of the devastating flood in Texas. Trump wrote his administration is working with state and local officials in response of the flooding. Plus, we have Governor Greg Abbott declaring today, July 6th, a day of prayer for Texans impacted by this devastating floods, urging Texans of all faiths and religious traditions to offer prayers for those healing, the safety of our first responders, and the public safety of officers, the rebuilding of the community, and the restoration of that region that was struck.
And of course, we're going to continue to update you with the latest information. We're expected to hear from officials with another update at 10 a.m. So just in about an hour, we'll have another press conference that we're going to bring you live on air and online. And another one will happen at 3 p.m.
So you can contact the number on your screen at this time. That is the Red Cross's number, and they're answering any questions for information regarding the flooding. For now, again, we got to pass it to meteorologist Sarah Spivey. Everybody's been dealing with the rain, and it's hitting hard in many different ways because after that devastation, one raindrop could trigger a lot of emotion right now. Sarah.
That's a great point, Jaffney. You know, any little bit of rain is going to be scary for these folks up in Kerr County, even if it's not creating flooding. And there is some rain right now falling near Mountain Home. It's more moderate at the moment than it is heavy, but we're going to be watching this carefully as it goes into the Hunt and Ingram area, which is currently experiencing some light rain. This particular rain, though, I want to put your minds at ease, is not going to cause any flooding. However, as we go throughout the rest of the day, as we get that daytime heating, any showers and storms that are out there are going to be fueled by that and could potentially lead to more flooding. And so it's because of that that we are under a flood watch, not only in the Hill Country, but also here in San Antonio and across a good portion of the central and north central part of Texas, all the way up to Waco, as any heavy rain that develops could easily produce 2 to 4 inches of rain on already saturated ground. That would lead to flooding, and it is within the realm of possibility that we could have a few more bullseyes of 5+ inches of rain. So that is until 7 p.m. But we'll continue to keep you posted on any flooding that we see out there. The biggest thing to know is, again, just a few rain showers across the hill country. There's no lightning associated with these either. You can see I turned on the lightning strikes. I'm not seeing any lightning here. These are just some showers, but again, I'm going to be monitoring them very carefully to see if they grow in intensity and if they stay put, because that would indicate there could be some issues there with flooding. I'll be back to talk about the stream flow across the Guadalupe, which is currently raging, and we're going to talk about the volume of water that has fallen in some of these areas. It's impressive.
Well, Sarah, thank you so much. We continue our team coverage across the hill country, and our Patty Santos, I know she was in Hunt earlier, but believe she was making her way back to Kerrville for that press conference. Patty?
She's trying to get more details for us. Patty, where are you located at right now?
Okay, we're still in Hunt right now. It is just the destruction here is so devastating. We make our way up, and then we just have to stop to talk to people, to hear their stories, and to see what is happening. We want to tell you first a story about, I just talked to the lady that owns this property, and she tells me her son, her 28-year-old son, was here when the flood started. He's about 6 feet tall. The water got all the way up to his neck, but he held on to a pole, and that is how he was able to survive this. But I want to show you, this is the area right now. This is a park here in Hunt. It is a common park, a place where people gather, and you can see that the work is already getting underway. Community members, people that live here, people that have seen the devastation, they want to help. They are coming up to clean up all this debris, and this is the kind of community that our hill country is, that our neighbors are. We have been asking a lot of them, what do you need? They tell us, of course, the basic supplies. That lady I just talked to, she needs boots. What you would imagine that you need if your home was just flooded and you need to rebuild. But a lot of them also just want prayers. Take a listen.
People have died, kids have died. We're still finding people out here. We have to rebuild, because what else do we have out here? We have nothing, literally.
Okay, so we've been here for several hours. When we first got here, there was hardly anyone here, but the town, the area is starting to wake up once again. We saw about 10 to 12 crews making their way down, game wardens, search crews, heavy equipment you see back there. They are still without power here. They are still without water, but you see right behind there are power crews that are getting to work right now. This is the scene that we're seeing. I know everybody wants to help. There are people that are already here to help, but please consider possibly helping in the next few weeks when this cleanup continues. And again, there is also the recovery efforts, the recovery of those bodies, the missing 27 people, 27 girls from Camp Mystic, and also other people that they just don't know about. We have seen crews that have been walking along the river. I imagine they are searching for bodies as well. But that is the scene that we have right now. We are now going to make our way back into Kerrville and bring you the latest updates from the officials there. We'll send it back to you guys.
You just see all of those power trucks coming through, because remember, they also don't have access to power at this time. So lots of rebuilding there. Thank you, Patty, for putting that in perspective for us. And today, recovery efforts underway, like we just saw there with Patty, including the search to find those who are missing because of this flooding. As of this morning, family members have identified 12 people who are presumed missing.
And as of right now, 5 of the missing people are among the 27 campers from Camp Mystic who remain unaccounted for, including this girl. We've been showing you her all morning long. This is Kellyanne Lytle. This photo was shared to us by her father. She was at Camp Mystic, and she has not been located at this time.
Also missing from Camp Mystic is Eloise Peck and Lila Bonner. Relatives have identified them as well. Also missing Greta Toronzo. Family members are asking you to call that number there on your screen. You have any information about her.
And the fifth girl that we know is missing from Camp Mystic is Blakely McCrory. On your screen right now, there is also a phone number to call for information on missing people. Again, that is 830-258-1111.
And the family wants to know if you have seen any of these people on your screen. They are all from Beaumont. They are Kelly High School grads. They're about 22 years old. Their names are Ella Cahill, Aiden Hartfield, Joyce Baden, and Reese Menchaca. They were in a house in Hunt that was along Highway 39 that was completely swept away. So on your screen now is a QR code where we have a list of several other missing people. Their families are asking anyone with any information to reach out. Again, if you are missing a friend or family member as part of this floods, that's the number you call for information on your screen, 830-258-1111.
All right, look at this video right here. It was sent in from a viewer. And yeah, you know what that truck is. HEB trucks heading toward Comfort. A reminder that there are tons of ways to help. Again, we got the QR code up. I'm going to be showing you QR codes all morning long because we know there are a lot of you who want to give back. That right there is going to take you to a full list of ways to do so at ksat.com. And right now, we got a lot of you, again, watching at home, have been wanting to go out and help those in need.
So right now on ksat.com, we have a list of ways you can do just that. Here's a list of places accepting donations for flood victims. We have Cross Kingdom Church, Folklore's Coffee House, the Salvation Army, and Hemisphere is having a drive today and tomorrow.
Yeah, the Salvation Army on Kerrville asking for those donations. They're on Hayes Street in Kerrville. And then finally, again, as she mentioned, Hemisphere holding a donation drive downtown tomorrow and Monday. You can drop off donations from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m.
For a full list of ways you can help, scan that QR code on your screen and it's take you to a full list. And Jeff, I just want to reiterate that when we were taking those photos of those that are missing, we know that there are several more missing in a lot of these photos and names and numbers circulating on social media, online. People might be asking, well, why aren't you taking all of them? The photos we are showing have been sent to us and given permission from family members that we can show them on air. And we also do have a list of on ksat.com of many more. So there are so many more missing. I'm seeing so many posting on social media. I just saw a picture of campers from Camp Mystic on social media. It was like the bubble cabin, and they were all about 8 years old. And it's so, so tragic to see these photos. But that's why we're doing this wall-to-wall coverage to bring you guys the latest on this just devastation.
And we also want to double down real quick on being very specific about ways that you can help and give back. Unfortunately, we already know there are some people that are taking advantage of the situation where you got those scammers out there,
horrible
fake GoFundMe pages and stuff. We are specifically listing different ways that you can help and who you can contact directly. And all that's on our website, ksat.com. If you see a GoFundMe or something that is reaching out that seems a little sketchy, do not give your money away or give your time away to whoever's trying to take advantage of what is just an awful, awful scenario. But again, all those resources are found on our website at ksat.com.
It's 9:13, 79 degrees. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break.
Tell you, there's nothing good in your future. This bad break has soured your life. You'll always be disappointed. But feelings don't tell you the truth. Feelings
9:15 team coverage is continuing right now. We've been going wall to wall, kind of giving you guys the updated information on the latest dealing with the Hill Country floods.
That's right. And Robert Arnold, who is from Houston, KPRC, our sister station, is in Hunt. Your signal is a little grainy out there, but I understand that the signal is tough out there in Hunt because of everything that is down. But you've been doing a great job, Robert, showing us all the devastation out there.
Sorry, the signal's been coming and going. We've moved outside the town of Hunt now. And just to orient you, we're on 39 and we are upstream from the Camp Mystic Cypress Lake location. Downstream from that is going to be the Camp Mystic Guadalupe River location. That's the camp that was hit the hardest by the floodwaters. And again, everywhere we go, you just see the sheer ferocity of these floodwaters. We're here. There's the Guadalupe River down there, yet the water came up not only so high, but so hard it knocked this staircase off of the foundation. It knocked these huge stone blocks off of this wall here. And then if you look over to this house, it came in, hit that foundation, and that house is no longer level. You had such a wall of water come through, that house is no longer level. And if you bear with us as we walk a little bit this way, you can continue to see just how high the water came and how much destruction was done. This entire house was essentially underwater. If you look to that window over there, the shade, you can see how the mold is growing from where the water has gotten inside. And as you go along, you can see where the watermarks got. That's how difficult, just how tough a situation people are returning to. The homeowners in this area, this entire community is now faced with rebuilding. I was talking with one gentleman earlier. He didn't want to go on camera, understandably so, but said he's scared it's going to take decades for this community to get back to where it was. Again, you can see the high water mark there on the side of this house. That's how high the water rose. And not only was it the water, it also brought all of this debris with it, and all of this has been deposited in the area. This is also causing other challenges for the search and rescue efforts, because as they go through this area, they have to go through every single pile of debris to make sure that no one is trapped. They have to go into structures, homes like this one that may not be structurally sound, to see if anybody is trapped inside. That's where you see some of these telltale markings, these X's and some of these other symbols. That means the search crew has been through the area and cleared it. Further down here, you have even more debris deposited through this area. There are people still without power. Crews are working on that. And all of this is happening as they're still trying to find all those who are missing, unaccounted for. And they don't even have a total number on that. Yes, we've been reporting that number of the young ladies who are missing from Camp Mystic, but that is only from Camp Mystic. The city manager in Kerrville says they're not even going to try and guess exactly how many people are unaccounted for, because you had so many people come into this area from out of town because it was the 4th of July weekend. So they're trying to get a handle on that today. They're focusing their search efforts right now on the western portion of Kerr County, hoping that they will continue to find survivors. And we're going to stay out here and we will continue to update you as soon as we get any new information. Reporting live from Kerr County, Robert Arnold, KSAT 12 News.
Robert, thank you so much. Really putting it into perspective how strong those waters were, knocking over those giant rock boulders. And Sarah, you know, they're really not out of the woods when it comes to rain, especially in the hill country.
In fact, right now we do have some rain occurring in Mountain Home right now, just north of Hunt. Now, the good news is this is moving, okay? So it's not going to be causing any flooding, and it's moderate rainfall rather than that heavy, heavy, heavy rain. But it just goes to show the atmosphere is still primed for some rain, and we do have a flood watch in effect through this evening. It was fascinating seeing Robert out there and the power of that water, and I want to put this in perspective for you. In these areas in Kerr County, we've talked about the amount of rain that's fallen, right? About 13 inches of radar estimated rain in places. But when we talk about this amount of water in terms of a volume, it's pretty shocking. In just a few hours, 100 billion gallons of water over this area here in this white fell. 100 billion gallons of water. That is more than the amount of water that flows over Niagara Falls daily in a day. So that much water fell in a matter of hours. It is no wonder that the Guadalupe River started raging, started flooding, and brought with it complete devastation. Our thoughts and prayers are with everybody out there as they are continuing these recovery efforts. Let's go ahead and go back to the radar now. And again, looking at that shower in Mountain Home and south of Lakey, these areas are also going to be very sensitive to the rain. Just know that right now there's no immediate risk for flooding in the hill country. We've got some mainly cloudy skies around San Antonio with some areas of light rain as well. But let's take a look at that area that's under a watch. Generally, everybody in San Antonio, Bexar County, out towards Seguin, New Braunfels, Bernie, Kerrville, Bandera, Medina Lake, Hondo, and up toward Austin, we are all under a flood watch, meaning we're watching for the potential for more flooding. Coverage today is going to be less than the last few days. That's the good news. The bad news is wherever rain falls, it will continue to be heavy and it will fall over saturated ground. If you get a heavy thunder shower, you could easily see 2 to 4 inches of rain on saturated grounds, and there might even be some bullseyes in this area of green here where over 5 inches of rain falls. So we've got to be very careful and very alert today. As I look at today's forecast, this is your KSAT 12-hour forecast. As we head into the afternoon, coverage will be about 40%, so slightly higher coverage, high temperature of 85 degrees, and when we start to see the sunset, our rain chance will go away for the day. How much rain fell along the drought? We're likely going to see drought completely eliminated, or at least mostly eliminated, because of the up to foot of rain that has fallen in these areas. We will keep you posted. The next drought monitor comes out on Thursday, so we'll have your updates there. I want to show you the stream flow of the Guadalupe because even though it's not flooding right now, it is flowing very fast, dangerously fast at Spring Branch. We're looking at stream flow of 3,370 cubic feet per second. That's a volume of water. That's how fast that river is flowing with potentially debris. And it's flowing into Canyon Lake. We'll talk about Canyon Lake levels here very soon. Yesterday, we had a ton of rain downstream along the Guadalupe from Canyon Lake, Sattler area out towards Seguin. Without that rain, we would not have seen flooding on the Guadalupe, but because we saw that rain falling right there, we ended up with some flooding. No flooding right now, but what we do have is high stream flow of 4,000 cubic feet per second out in Seguin. Let's talk about the lakes because, again, all of that water flowed into Canyon Lake. Canyon Lake, since July 4th at last check, is up by 10 feet. That's an improvement. It's still only 50% full, so it can take on a lot more water. Medina Reservoir is only 4.3% full, but it is up 7 feet from where it was before July 4th. We've also had a ton of rain out along the Colorado River, so Lake Travis is rising up to by about 20 feet or so. Amistad, there has not been a ton of rain out there, so we haven't seen much of a change, only of 7 inches or so. When are we going to dry out? We have to wait until Wednesday to see rain chances go away completely in San Antonio. We're going to be looking at high temperatures in the mid-90s by the end of the week. Daphne.
All right, thanks so much, Sarah. Welcome back at 9:26 right now. Okay, so KTPC, as of Saturday afternoon, are saying that at least 4 people dead and at least 12 are missing in Travis County. Right now, you're looking at some video from Travis and Williamson County where a local disaster declaration was made in response to the area flooding. People were evacuated from their homes, including RV parks. Swift water rescue teams have rescued up to 25 people. Now, here's a list right now of the shelters in Comfort for those affected by the floods. You can go to Comfort High School and the Emmanuel Lutheran Church on High Street. Over in Kerrville, there are shelters that are at Calvary Temple Church, Notre Dame Catholic Church, and First United Methodist Church. You can see all those addresses on your screen, and we also have that information on our website at ksat.com. As far as the reunification centers, there are 2 set up right now, one at Ingram Elementary School and one at Arcadia Live in Kerrville. We're updating this information as we learn more about all of this, and we'll have more information about those still missing and who can contact in just a few minutes. You guys stay around because we're keeping our coverage going right now at 9:27. We're looking at 79 degrees outside. Do not go anywhere. We got a short break to take and we're coming back with more.
Good morning. It is 8:30 on your Sunday, July 6th, 2 days after those deadly and devastating floods in the Hill Country, and we continue our wall-to-wall coverage to keep our community informed.
Here's what we know so far this morning. At least 43 people are dead. 28 of them are adults, 15 of them children. An unknown number of people remain unaccounted for, where 12 adults and 5 children have not been identified. Plus, we got hundreds of rescues have taken place. As far as we know, the crews are continuing to search at this hour. We were told yesterday that they began the recovery efforts at 8 a.m. And if you're looking for a family member in Kerr County and you need to report them missing, that number on your screen, we've been talking about it all morning long. It is 830-258-1111. That's 830-258-1111. Make sure that you tell them your loved one's last known location.
And Sarah, I know you've been talking about we're not out of the woods yet when it comes to the rain, especially in the Hill Country, under a flood watch throughout the afternoon.
That's right. Not just the Hill Country, but San Antonio also under a flood watch until 7 p.m. And in fact, we're seeing some rain on the radar right now, authority radar. But the good news is, again, this is not the kind of rain that causes flooding. This is, however, the kind of rain for this area that will cause some nervousness, just because this area was decimated by the floodwaters. But areas like Hunt, Ingram, you're going to be getting some moderate rain here coming in from Mountain Home momentarily. The other thing to keep in mind is that out near Lakey and Concan, there's some moderate rain there as well along the river. Here in San Antonio, it's fairly quiet at the moment, but as we zoom into Rio Medina, Castroville, some light rain showers falling there. As we head into the rest of the day, we're going to get some of that daytime heating. The heating is going to act as a fuel for these showers that are out there. And because of that, there is a flood watch in place. We've still got that low pressure system overhead. All of the counties you see here, including Bexar County and the Hill Country, under that flood watch, as 2 to 4 inches of rain is going to be possible in pockets. It doesn't mean you're going to see additional 2 to 4 inches of rain, just that it's going to be possible in pockets. And there could be localized 5+ inches of rainfall. in some bullseye areas anywhere along this flood watch. So we will keep you posted. We're not out of the woods yet. In fact, we really are not going to see rainfall let up until after this upcoming Wednesday. So the bottom line, what you need to know, flood watch through this afternoon. Some amounts of 2 to 4 inches of rain are possible on already saturated ground. The good news is the Guadalupe is receding. It does still have high dangerous stream flow, though, and we're probably not going to see rain come to an end, and at least our chance for rain come to an end until after Wednesday. Details for you soon, guys.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Obviously, we've been keeping our coverage going wall to wall. Not only want to give thanks to all of our viewers out there who've been doing KSAT Connect, giving us that firsthand view of what's taking place when our crews out there can't get to certain areas.
Right, and also all the first responders doing, oh gosh, just working nonstop. And I know, Patty, you've been out there witnessing all of this. Tell us what you just talked to someone and got some very important information from them.
Yeah, and thanks again to the community that has been impacted by this for allowing us to tell their stories. It is an extremely difficult time right now, excuse me, because you see so much devastation right now, but you also hear stories of survival that inspire you. And just take a listen. This is Christian Fell, and he just Okay, so we're going to work on getting that interview for you, but he said he was there in Hunt, and he waited for 3 hours before the water actually went down, and he said he just held on to whatever he could, right? And he held on. He called emergency crews. They could not get to him, but he was finally able to get some help when the water went down. If we could play that stop, please. What were you doing that morning?
Well, I went to sleep at around 1 a.m. and then I woke back up at like 3 to the sound of thunder and a huge storm outside. And originally I thought someone broke into the house because I had no idea there was going to be a storm or even like a flood. So when I got up to go look and see what was going on, my feet hit the floor and there was just like water up to my ankles at that point. So I get up and I grab my flashlight and I walk into the living room and I see our wooden addition, the porch was ripped up and the water was just flooding into the house from there.
And your mom tells me you called her, you called 911. What happened? What did they tell you?
They told me to just get on top of furniture and just to get as high as I can, but by that point everything was floating and there's nothing to get on top of. So I had to swim through a window and hold on to the meter box outside of the house.
How long did you hold on to that meter box for?
3 hours, about.
Until the water went down, or until somebody rescued you?
Until the water went down. It wasn't until I saw the police officer walking on the street when I realized the water had lowered enough where I could climb down.
What's going through your head? Are you thinking, I'm gonna die, I need to survive? What?
I need to survive. There's nothing really else I'm thinking about. After I got off the phone with 911 for the last time, it was like I kind of realized I have to save myself.
And your mom said you were with somebody else. There was another guy that was stuck in a tree.
Yeah, he was over here. I didn't notice him until I climbed down, and I saw the police officer walking down the street, and he was shining his light over there talking to someone. And then I walked over there, and he started calling out for me. I was like, I can't see you, because it was still like dark at this point. Yeah, he was sitting at eye level with me, which is probably about like 20 feet off the ground. He was just sitting in a tree.
As you see the devastation and the fact that so many people have died, you survived. You're one of those survivors. What do you think?
Just thankful. Thank God.
Okay, guys, and I gotta apologize for getting a little emotional because he is the youngest of 3 boys. So I know how his mom is feeling today, how grateful she is. By the way, his mom right now is in desperate need of some new rain boots because they are trying to clean up right now. They're actually there still in Hunt trying to clean up, and her boots are ripped. And she says, you know, we're just gonna be here all day cleaning up. Also inspirational right now is what we are seeing in this community. People just showing up to clean up. We're seeing a lot of traffic right now, but that's because there's a lot of people that are coming in and just with shovels, with gloves, whatever they can to begin the cleanup process. Again, we're gonna be making our way right now to Kerrville, where we are expecting the latest information on the death toll and how many more rescues and the cleanup efforts. We'll send it back to you, ladies.
Patty, look, first and foremost, don't you ever apologize for getting emotional about something so sad and deep that these families are going through. You've been out there all those hours. It's going to hit. We're all human.
No.
We're all human.
And Patty's been doing a tremendous job. She was one of the first reporters on the ground at 4 in the morning on Friday. And then I got there right after her. And it's tough. We're human. I know it's been tough on me as a new mom. And
Don't apologize.
My heart goes out to all those families out there, and we are very thankful for our community for stepping up and supporting each other. And Patty, you're doing a great job out there.
Doing a fantastic job. And of course, as she mentioned, she's going to that presser at 10. Again, still our boots on the ground, still going in and pushing through so that we can help our viewers who are looking from the outside in trying to get that information. So again, Patty, thank you for everything that you're doing. Do not apologize. Keep rocking what you're going to rock. And I'm telling you, you're doing the Lord's work right now. We're good. All right, it is 9:37 right now. While families are on those pins and needles waiting to hear about any update about their missing loved ones, we're hearing stories of people who are just straight up heroes.
Tremendous stories. People putting their lives on the line to save others. One of those individuals is Dick Eastland, known to so many in the Hill Country. He was the owner and director of Camp Mystic, a private Christian summer camp for girls. Unfortunately, he passed away because of this tragedy. One of his family members took to Facebook and said that Dick Eastland died trying to save campers.
The Kerrville Daily Times also published an article on their website about this tragedy. It says that the writer, who's Paige Sumner, wrote about Dick. Quote, "It doesn't surprise me at all that his last act of kindness and sacrifice was working to save the lives of campers. He had already saved so many lives with the gift of Camp Mystic." We have an update again about missing Zunker family. Tivy boys soccer coach Reese Zunker and his wife Paula were among those who died. The team announced on Facebook saying that Saturday night, at last check, their 2 children are still missing, reportedly swept away from their home in the Hunt area.
We've been also telling you about Reese Zunker, Kerrville Tivy high school boys soccer head coach and his family since they were reported missing. The school has confirmed that Reese and his wife Paula were found dead. The school saying this about Reese, quote, "Coach Reese Zunker was not just a soccer coach. He was a mentor, a teacher, a role model in our Kerrville kids." At this time, there's no word about their children who are still missing. And as crews continue, to search for people in the Texas Hill Country, we're seeing stories of survival.
A woman is in the hospital this morning after clinging to a tree 15 miles from where floodwaters swept her away.
But it was a homeowner who spotted her from his deck that led to emergency crews bringing that woman to safety. The rest of her family is still unaccounted for. Here's KPRC's Gage Goulding with our sister station in Houston.
The Guadalupe River looking very different, as if it was just an afternoon shower that fell here. You would never guess just by looking at this river that a wall of water 30 feet deep was running through this riverbed, taking everything and anything with it. A daring rescue in the raging flash flood waters of the Guadalupe River. The now viral moment playing out in Carl Jeter's backyard in Center Point. What did you hear that drew your attention over there? What was she saying?
She was screaming, "Help, help, help."
Devin Smith has already been hanging on here for hours. She, along with her mom, dad, aunt, uncle, and sister, were camping along the river in Kerrville. the flash flood sweeping all of them away.
She noted that there was a refrigerator that multiple times had taken her under, and debris that kept trying to pull her underwater until she finally was able to get up into the tree.
Told about RVs going by and trees and stuff.
After floating more than 15 miles down the river, somehow Devin grabbing onto this tree, holding on for dear life, until Carl heard her screams and the rescue crews saved her.
We got to get back across.
There's no words. I mean, it's a miracle. She said, you know, I guess God had a better plan for me.
Now to the worst part of this story. All 5 of Devin's family members who were swept along away with her have yet to be found. The rest of her family now joining many across the Texas Hill Country that are left searching for some kind of answers. In Center Point, Gage Golding, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you so much. I love hearing the stories of survival. You know, it gets hard for us to hear all this heavy information, but it's the stories of survival and our community helping each other out that really keeps us going.
Brings us that hope that is needed right now more than ever. 9:41 right now, 81 degrees outside.
We'll be right back. Well, united with our sister station in Houston, KSAT is bringing you the stories of the Texas Hill Country still recovering from those 4th of July deadly floods. The destruction happened in an instant, but it's a long road ahead to rebuild. And our KPRC2's Paige Hubbard, our sister station, is in Sister Point this morning, live along the banks of the Guadalupe River, where even now the search for survivors continues. Paige.
Good morning. Search and rescue operations remain the biggest focal point at this hour, as there are still dozens unaccounted for. Governor Greg Abbott saying in a press conference that these search and rescue operations will be a 24/7 operation. And he says this will be, quote, a marathon and not a sprint. We have been out here along the Guadalupe River all morning watching volunteers search the area, looking through mangled piles of trees for those still missing. I got a chance to speak with volunteers asking what compelled them to come out here and help during such a devastating time. One woman tells me she was motivated to come out and help because her kids went to camp not too far from where this devastation took place.
My kids went to camp just a month ago up the road. They were 8 and 10 years old, so kind of spoke to me in reference to that. And I hate, the situation for some of the mothers that have lost their kids. So I wanted to kind of try to help out. So my husband and I came down here with a group of people from Bernie to assist.
And that's just one of many stories from volunteers who have come out here to help. Something that has stood out to me is the compassion. As I've been out here talking to people, you can just feel the empathy. People have been speaking to me, having tears well in their eyes. So this is definitely a sad situation, ongoing, all hands on deck. And there is a press conference coming up at 10 o'clock where we're going to get an update on the latest efforts from officials. But that's all we have for now. I'll go ahead and send it back to you all in the studio.
I can only imagine, when she's talking about speaking with these people and seeing the tears in their eyes, we were just talking about how it is heavy. We can feel it and we're not even there,
Right.
and the fact that that is their reality, It's tough. That is a tough thing to have to go through.
It's very tough, and a lot of people out there continuing their search and rescue efforts. And Sarah, they may encounter rain while doing that today.
They very well may. And in fact, we are seeing some showers pick up across the hill country. That's all they are right now, showers. We're not even looking at any major flooding or anything like that at the moment. But you can see near Medina and near Kerrville, we are starting to see a few showers pop up in these areas. Now, the good news is, as I mentioned, they're moving at the moment, so we're really not seeing any kind of issues as far as flooding is concerned. But I do want to go ahead and highlight some of these folks that are dealing with some rain. We've got some rain near Medina right now in Bandera County, out toward Concan, and in areas just north of Concan, Garner State Natural Area, Los Maples as well. We're keeping a close eye on things as they unfold here, because as we get closer to the afternoon, we're going to have a lot more fuel in the form of warmth, and these showers will probably turn into storms at some point with a few flashes of lightning. With that in mind, keep in mind that areas generally across all of the hill country up into Austin area have seen so much rain in the last couple of days. Now, I know this says 5-day rainfall, but most of this rain fell just over July 4th, July 5th. And these numbers are so impressive when you look at the amount of rain that's fallen nearer to Mason. We saw in some cases up to about a foot of rain there near Mason. Impressively near Burnett and Marble Falls area, up to 20 inches of rain. And of course, that devastating rainfall near Hunt and Ingram and 39, up to about a foot of rainfall. What I want to do right now is I want to show you the stream flow along the Guadalupe. You can see that along the Guadalupe, even though the river is not flooding, the river is fast. The river is flowing at 3,370 cubic feet per second near Spring Branch. That is well above the average of 127. And this is going right into Canyon Lake. And I'll show you Canyon Lake numbers here soon. Thankfully, Canyon Lake is still not full, and so because of that, there won't have to be any release right now south and downstream through New Braunfels and Seguin. But the reason why the river is flowing so fast in New Braunfels and in Seguin up to 4,000 cubic feet per second, is because a ton of rain fell there yesterday that had nothing to do with the rain that fell along the Guadalupe River upstream of Canyon Lake. So please be careful around the rivers today, especially around the Guadalupe River, as it is flowing very fast. Please don't go tubing, but if you were to go tubing in these areas near New Braunfels, just to put this in perspective, your trip would be twice as fast than it usually is because of how fast that river is flowing. I want to show you those lake levels because remember, Canyon Lake, all of that water is flowing into Canyon Lake. Latest update is that Canyon Lake is now 60% full. At one point it was 47% full. It's risen by 10 feet. Medina Lake Reservoir is only 4% full, but it is up 7 feet. We had a lot of that rainfall along the Colorado River that I showed you near Marble Falls, and that goes into Lake Travis. Lake Travis is up 17 feet. And according to the LCRA, they are going to have to release water from Lake Buchanan, and that's going to travel into Lake Travis as well. So this is one of the areas that we're really going to have to watch very carefully. Later on today, any of this flooding, any of this rain could easily produce flooding, and I'll show you the future cast. You can see what a potential setup is going to be like for us later on this afternoon. Again, with the heat of the day, we're probably going to see some heavier downpours. Perhaps those heavier downpours will fall over areas in the hill country. We'll keep that in mind. It's also possible for us to see that all the way here in San Antonio. So given that in mind, that's why there is a flood watch in effect for all of these counties that you see here on your map, including areas in the hill country and San Antonio. Until 7 p.m., we're going to have that flood watch. 2 to 4 inches of rain could fall at times in these areas, and localized 5+ inches of rain in bullseyes. Doesn't mean you're going to get 2 to 4 inches of rain in your backyard, but if 2 to 4 inches of rain falls anywhere here it's going to result in some flash flooding. All right, let's take a look too at the main things I want you to remember today. I want you to remember that there's that flood watch and that amount of rain is possible. I want you to remember that Guadalupe River is receding, which means we're not going to be dealing with those floodwaters coming up. But because of the high volume of water, we've got a very high stream flow. And so the rivers are not necessarily safe downstream of Kerrville. They are flowing fast with lots of debris. And so we want to be mindful of that. Rain chances do continue through Wednesday, so we're really not going to dry out until the middle of next week. Now, our flooding risk may be a little bit less on Tuesday, Wednesday than it is out there right now, but it is still something we're going to be wanting to pay very close attention to. Otherwise, it's going to be mostly sunny and pretty hot, with high temperatures climbing to near 95 degrees by Friday and Saturday. Also, I want to say, send us your pictures onto KSAT Connect. We would love to be able to share them with our viewers. As our eyes on the ground, you all can tell us what you're seeing and where you're seeing it. Again, thoughts and prayers today with all of our community that's currently dealing with some of the worst things that we could ever imagine. Guys.
Thank you so much, Sarah. And at this time, we are dealing with a lot of things that you can give back and help out.
Right. San Antonio Pets Alive has launched an emergency donation drive to support both Kerrville Pets Alive and many families affected. The organization is accepting donations, both pet supplies and human essentials, which will be delivered to the Kerrville area once collected. The donation drive will run starting today through Wednesday, July 9th. You can drop off the 2 locations on your screen. And here are some of the items they need. They need towels, blankets, new or gently used clothing, socks, and shoes. And before we go to break, Jeff, you want to do an update?
I do want to talk about this. So I've been searching on social media. City of Kerrville Police Department did put this statement out about an hour ago or so, saying the search operations are continuing. Rescue teams worked all night. We have teams on the ground right now in Western Kern County resuming the ground search. And they also got KPD on the side of searching as well within the city limits. They did say we have many offers of volunteer support. And at this time, we have all the resources that we need, but we are compiling a volunteer list if and when we need to call on volunteers. Salvation Army Kerrville is the point of contact for that volunteer database. We're going to get this online so that if you're interested in volunteering, this is what you need to do. Also, it says that we do not need food or water donations at this time, but monetary donations can be made at the Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country. So these are coming in as we speak, live update as we speak. And again, for them, they're working 24/7 around the clock.
Right. Salvation Army, that is your contact. And we're going to bring you more coverage of this throughout the morning. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, around 12:45 yesterday, our Dylan Collier was able to show us some of the damage the floodwaters caused just outside of Ingham in the Cade Loop area.
So the force of the water and the debris washed out of the bridge, blocking traffic in and out of that area. Again, on Cade Loop, crews using heavy machinery to remove that debris. Dylan spoke with a woman who actually lives in Kerrville, but was staying at a home on Cade Loop.
What has the last 30 hours been like? We are very lucky, and that's what we've all said, because we were in a home that is dry. We have beds. We just don't have electricity. We had plenty of food and water, so we were good at that, and we were all safe, and everyone was our family was safe. Some of our family members that were staying in an Airbnb across, the 2 vehicles got totaled and lost. But other than that, we were all safe. It's just been kind of chaotic and crazy. And then we've been getting, information, or at least our phones work periodically. Sometimes texts won't go out, but we could call each other, and just getting updates on things. The hard part is I think everybody was getting different stories, especially about the girls. We heard that they were missing, then we heard that they were, and then we heard they were okay, and then we found out they weren't. And so just trying to keep track of that, making sure all our friends are okay. I've felt kind of helpless because I want to be helping in the community, but we were here until just now that, we can kind of get out. I'm glad we were able, my mother-in-law was 80 and was here with us. We were able to get her out. We got the 2-year-old cousin that was with us out. I got my kids out. So other than that, it's kind of been like a camping trip for us. We were collecting rainwater so we could flush toilets and that kind of thing. We've just been praying a lot too, for all our community. It's been amazing to watch our community come together, and even just neighbors, you can see right here, they're all coming together. We saw them over there working together. I know the Kerrville community has all come together. I know a restaurant in town, the Grape Juice, with their, we know them, they're friends, and I know that they just stepped in. He immediately, Derek, the owner, was like, we're emptying our freezers, we're emptying everything, we're cooking. They cooked all this food. He's been reporting how much food that they were making food and having it airlifted because there were, I don't know if they've been evacuated, at La Junta, and they still had kids at Mystic. I know they've been getting them out, but they were taking food and airlifting it over to them and for all the first responders. So I think that that's amazing to be able to hear, but it's just, it's devastating to look at this. And I was talking to the camp director at Rio Vista, and he was like, this will forever change the landscape of the river, the landscape of our lives. For him, his camp, he was like, we'll come back, but they've got a lot of work to do. And it's been just kind of crazy, and it literally just happened so quick. And I remember last week, at the beginning of the week, I read or saw something, they were like, conditions could be right for a flood, and I was like, whatever. And all of us, we were sitting at the river, and we saw the weather forecast for yesterday, 4th of July, and it was kind of drizzly off and on the day before, and we kind of thought it was going to be like that. It was not. It absolutely was not. And then yesterday, it just kept sitting on us and raining, and we were all like, we just want to be dry. But we're very lucky.
If Cade Loop gets passable, if they're able to fill in that area, what is your plan to get out, or to just how long do you see staying here?
I honestly don't know. We haven't really thought or talked that far. I haven't talked to my husband about that. If I can get out, I may get out and go home just because I live in Kerrville, and then we will come back so we can start cleaning up this house. The water pump and the water house, all of that got washed away. There's no electricity right now, and there's food in all the fridges, which we haven't really been opening because we were trying. So I think we'll have to get together as a family and decide, are we going to come up here and try to clean all that out and clean up what we can, and then just go back to town and where there's electricity and wait. I'm really not sure what we're going to do. I think some of us, we may stay tonight, I honestly don't know. We haven't gotten that far.
I imagine.
We haven't gotten that far. I do have to say, it is very humid, but I think we're lucky it's not 110 degrees. Last night in the house, we had the windows open and it wasn't that bad. I think, we're lucky that it's been, fairly cool. This little breeze is nice right now. So we've been very lucky for that, because if it was 100 and like this, that would be a little intolerable. But we were all just hanging out and doing what we could do yesterday, and today everybody's working to try to find a way out of here. They may be able to. I would not try to drive across this. Maybe if they get the other side, we can try to drive out. I know my car has 4-wheel drive, so if I need to do that, I can.
All right. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was just saying that was Don Collier, but we're waiting on that press conference. It's 10 right now.
Yeah.
We just got word that the media is still waiting in the lobby, so we might be running late for this press conference I don't know. If the media is still waiting in the lobby and media still needs to set up, I'm thinking at least another 5 to 10 minutes before we actually get to that press conference. But I do believe, are we going to break?
I think, what do you guys need us to do back there?
I would like to say something. You know, it's Sunday, and a lot of people are gathering to pray, to worship. Pope Leo just did a statement here. Maybe you can read it, Sarah, on X. Pope Leo.
He said, I would like to express sincere condolences to all families who have lost loved ones, in particular their daughters who were at that summer camp and the disaster caused by the flooding of the Guadalupe River in Texas in the United States. We pray for them. That, again, is a statement that our Pope Leo just put out on Twitter or X, and it just goes to show that this is not just local. People across the country are helping, and I have so many friends that are texting, asking how we're doing down here, but this is a global concern.
It really is. And I think if we could do the weather, I do want to show the radar, and I want to show that there are some flashes of lightning even out in Kerr County right now. You can see that we've got some of that rain falling just west of Kerrville. These are not causing any flooding, so that's good news. But we are seeing, again, the potential here for some heavier rain is going to be possible throughout the day. The reason why these thunder showers are not causing any flooding right now is because they're moving. But as I tilt this to the side here, you can see some flashes of lightning. I can't imagine what these folks might be feeling out there right now, hearing that lightning in the form of thunder. When you hear thunder, you're essentially hearing lightning. Hearing that thunder after such a devastating rainfall event, they might be pretty sensitive to any bit of rain that's falling in that area. And I want to put your minds at ease. Again, we're not seeing any flooding from this particular shower and this shower that's falling right now over Hunt, but it is likely to stir up some feelings and emotions. This rain will stop soon for these areas, unlike what happened on July 4th. But as we zoom out a little bit more and push play on the radar here, you can see that we're starting to see a little bit more coverage in these showers. It's raining now near Pearsall and in Devine. This just goes to show we are under a flood watch until this evening, but I would even reckon to say through tomorrow as well, because so much rain has fallen in these areas. Any additional showers and storms are going to be have the risk for creating flooding. And as we take a look at the setup, that rain bomb, that low pressure system overhead, it really is finally starting to move a little bit, but it's still overhead. And whenever we have that upper level low overhead with this Gulf moisture, we're going to continue to see a risk for flooding in the long term, for the next couple of days at least. And as we look at the future cast, as what we're seeing right now, we're seeing a little bit more activity start to develop as we get into the afternoon. I think that's going to be possible too. The daytime heating, fueling some of these showers and storms. Coverage is not going to be as widespread as what we saw over the last few days, but it is still a potential. And so with that in mind, here are the main headlines, things for you to be thinking about today. That flood watch through this afternoon. Pockets of 2 to 4 inches of rain are going to be possible, not guaranteed, but possible, with a bullseye of over 5 inches possible. Guadalupe is receding, but we do see some high stream flow out there, so please be careful. And rain chances do continue through Wednesday. Sarah, Jaffney.
All right, thank you so much. And again, as we mentioned earlier, we're still waiting for that press conference to start. It was supposed to start at 10, but obviously they're still gathering the media together. We're all getting our microphones and everything set up and tested. But today, another heavy day. I know, as Governor Greg Abbott mentioned, today has been declared a day of prayer. where he's asking everyone actively to in some form or fashion, pray for the families out there impacted, pray for the first responders who are going into these treacherous situations to try to see if they can recover or save anybody who may be out there. Pray for all the people out there who are doing donations or gathering anything they can to help the community in some form or fashion. But in general, just say a good prayer and hug your family tight.
And at these press conferences is where we've really been learning about, that the numbers of people being rescued and unfortunately that number of people who have died has grown. I just want to remind everyone the latest information that we have. At least 43 people are dead so far from this devastating flooding in the Hill Country. 28 of them are adults, 15 of them are children, and out of those, 12 adults and 5 children have not been identified, and it's an unknown number of how many people are missing. Because one thing that they keep, saying is a lot of the people that might be Oh, that's a mic check. Okay. A lot of people that might be missing were just visiting.
Yeah.
They can't even begin to account for those people that were just in town getting an Airbnb on the river. And again, the number that we have for Camp Mystic is 27 campers at all girls Christian camp along the river outside of Hunt. We know that there's 27 missing there because they know how many campers were at that camp. So that is a different number associated with the missing. But here's the positive news. Over 850 people rescued.
Yes.
And
a lot of them by helicopter, right?
Helicopter. When we were there first thing in the morning on Friday, I went up to the officers that had that Highway 39 closed to the most devastated area in Hunt, and they kind of looked at me, and it was a look of almost helplessness because they were like, our boats are on standby. Everyone has to be rescued by aircraft, and we are waiting for aircraft to come in. This was like at 7 in the morning when, it was. I posted about this walking into Ingram Elementary when they were first setting up that first responder kind of depot headquarters. I walked in there and it was palpable how raw that emotion was, talking to the first responders, and they had kind of just been hit with how bad and devastating this is. And, they have their boats, they can't get in because the river was just still rushing and not letting up. And they were just like, we're waiting on aircrafts. And I knew, I was like, this is dire.
Yeah.
This is not going to be good because I could see it on their faces, how severe it was. And that's when I got a text about the camps down there in Camp Mystic, and lots of people still wondering how they're going to get hold of their campers. And then the stories started coming in. But I want to applaud also highlighting the stories of survival, and thanks to our first responders who have made those stories of survival possible. Japhanie, we've been talking about the gravity of the situation, the emotions. We're all in this together. We're people, and it's been tough. I mean, we've both covered a lot of, unfortunately, a lot of tragedies. The 2021 winter storm, Uvalde, and now this. And this one is tough.
It's very heavy, and that's one thing that, as today is the day of prayer, our hearts are still just going out to all those families. And I know there are so many people out there still waiting for those answers. Family members with missing children or with missing brothers and sisters and dads and grandpas. Again, we got to remember this was the 4th of July. A lot of people had gone to bed excited about waking up, celebrating America's birthday, and having that, all the floods come through with so many campers who this happens as a tradition for so many every single year. And it took this particular year for something terrible to happen. But again, we're getting those updates as we speak. The press conference is right now taking off. We can go kind of listen in at this time.
Oh, never mind.
Okay, no press conference. I'm sorry.
No, they are lining up behind the press conference, which is an indicator they hopefully will be starting soon.
Yeah.
Do you want to keep it here? Yeah, okay. Yeah, they're
let's
going to
listen
go
in.
ahead and start that press conference. I see Clint, he is the PIO with Kerr County Sheriff's Office. There we go. Let's go ahead and take a listen.
Good morning, everyone. This is the 10 a.m. briefing from the Kerr County Response Management for the flood disaster. First up today, we have Sheriff Larry Letha.
Y'all ready? Once again, Larry Letha, Kerr County Sheriff. Again, thank y'all for covering this and helping us get the message out. I'll start first, and then our city manager will go next and give you some information, and then we'll finish with our Kerrville mayor. Okay, what I'm here to do, like I said, is give you all the most current updated information. Please bear in mind these numbers will continue to change. As I'm walking in the door, I'm getting texts. It's going to be like yesterday. I think these numbers are going to continue to change and increase as time goes on. But like I said, we'll do a good job on keeping you updated. Search and rescue operations continue with a full response from local, state, and national first responders. At present, there's over 400 first responders for more than 20 agencies that are working in Kerr County. We have more than a dozen canine working in and near the river. More than 100 air, water, and ground vehicles are in the field right now working on this search and rescue. As of 9 a.m. this morning, we've recorded 59 deceased in Kerr County. Among those who are deceased, we have 38 adults and 21 children. 18 adults pending identification, and 4 children are also pending identification. At present, there are 11 Camp Mystic campers unaccounted for, along with 1 counselor. We extend our sincerest condolences and prayers for every single family affected by this tragedy. And we continue to work around the clock and reunite these families. We will continue to our search efforts until everybody is found. Our missing person call center is open, and those reporting missing loved ones can call the number 830-258-1111. I'll repeat one more time, 830-258-1111. Please follow the Kerr County Sheriff's Office and City of Kerrville Facebook for your latest information. At this time, I'll turn it over to our City Manager, Dalton Rice.
Thank you, Sheriff. Thank you all for being here today. Everyone in the community is hurting, and we know many of you are locals or have some local connections here, so please keep everybody in your thoughts as we continue to navigate this very challenging time for our community. Search operations continue. Starting about 0600 this morning, we started putting boots on the ground. We have increased our number of personnel that are navigating the really challenging shores along the bank line, but we are continuing to make progress from west to east as we continue operations. What we really need from y'all is to really help us get the word out. We know that people want to volunteer, but what we're starting to see is personal drones that are flying. With these personal drones that are flying, that is a danger to aircraft, which risks then further operations. So if you could, please pass the communication along that we need to keep these personal drones out of the sky. We have drones and assets flying. We want to continue to do that. For volunteers and donations, we do have a phone number, 830-465-4794. We can give you that number after, but if you want to volunteer, if you have donations, please contact that number and they will help get everything out. We have families who need to be reunited, and we are continuously making effort to make sure that our families are reunited. We want to continue to work together with our community. We appreciate everybody here, and we want to make sure that we stay Kerr united. I'm going to let the mayor wants to say a few words, and then I will take a couple questions after the mayor.
Again, thank you for being here. You know, I'm old enough to remember Fred Rogers, and he one time said during a crisis, look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping. In Kerrville, those helpers are city staff, county personnel, state agencies, and federal agencies. The entire Kerrville City Council is on site today. We're doing everything we can. Let me repeat something I said yesterday. In our Emergency Operations Center, it's not a bunch of different teams. It's one team. Our goal is to rescue those in peril and find those who are lost. If you are interested in donating to help those families who've been affected, you can visit the Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country. They've set up a portal for donations. I understand our community, our state, and the world have been responding. Thank you. Kerrville's branch of the Salvation Army has been designated as our official partner for volunteer coordination and in-kind donations. They can be reached at a number very similar to what you just heard, 830-465-4797. Also, we have a website for volunteers to register, a different website. It's tcr.communityos.org. It's important to follow the City of Kerrville's Facebook page for updates. If you follow social media and are interested in such things, I may be too old to tell you this, but there is a hashtag. It's hashtag KerrUnited. That's what we are. We're united to help those who are grieving, to find those who are lost. And now we'll open up to questions. I cannot answer operational questions, but I'm going to ask the city manager to come back up.
I'm not sure who can answer this, but we just talked with business owners who are very concerned, not only for themselves, but also for employees, about how are they going to pay their mortgage, how are they going to pay their electricity. They've been having people reach out to them about their bills, and they're terrified that in the middle of all this, they're going to get cut off or evicted.
We are working through everything right now. Currently our biggest focus is to making sure that we get families reunited with their loved ones. And so we are not going to stop until we are able to get those families reunited.
This is a question for both you and the sheriff. There appears to be a massive operation now in Center Point. Is that where we're seeing bodies recovered at this moment?
We are seeing bodies recovered all over, up and down. So as we make our way east to west, we have the entire pretty much span of operations. We broke it down into grids so we can recover those bodies. So yes, it is a full operation.
None as of this morning.
Mr. Rice.
One more question.
Sure.
Yeah, well, one of the questions that still hasn't been answered 3 days into this is despite TEM's warning on July 2nd, July 3rd, that something like this could have happened, that the threat existed, why that information didn't get down to camps and why they weren't evacuated. Can you answer that now?
That is a great question, but again, we want to make sure that we continue to focus. We still have 11 missing children that we want to get reunited with our families. Until we can get reunited with our families, we are not going to stop. We are not going to stop until we do. So thank you.
But just a quick follow-up question, sir. Was any emergency alert given out on the 4th that morning of? Did anyone get any alert?
There are families who deserve better than that.
To that press conference, we got on some unfortunate numbers coming in as far as an update, Sarah.
That's right. We have 59 dead, 38 of them adults, 21 of them children, still waiting on the IDs of some of those adults and children. And I think one of the big numbers the people are focusing on is that Camp Mystic is still missing 11 counselors and I'm sorry. Camp Mystic still missing 11 campers, one counselor. That number has gone down from 29, but unfortunately, the death toll has gone up to 59 people dead. It's unfortunate that we keep getting this death toll number up. Again, 59 dead, 38 of them adults, 21 of them children, still pending on several of those IDs. That Camp Mystic number, 11 campers still unaccounted for, and one of them is a counselor. And we, of course, did not get a number. Again, I want to reiterate of the amount missing across the Hill Country because they can't even put a number on it at this point.
And he did mention that bodies were just being found throughout, so that's something that we're definitely going to stay on top of. I know they said that they've been working around the clock with all of their first responders. At that last check, he says from the local and state response, they have had 400 first responders from more than 20 different agencies working. They have K9s on the ground. They got helicopters in the air. And again, they've just been saying they're going to work around the clock to reunite these families, try to find more families. And they also listed off a couple things that you can do if you have a loved one that is missing. There's that number that we've been telling you guys about all morning long, where it's 830-258-1111. But also, they are asking if you are interested in volunteering. There is a process that they have, so that way they're not, swarmed with so many people. Obviously,
Can we put that number on the screen? That volunteer number is 830-465-4794.
Yes.
That is if you want to volunteer or donate. If we can put that on that screen, that'd be helpful. Yes. I'm going to repeat it one more time for those in the back. 830-465-4794. That number is if you want to volunteer or donate and help out, because, they are getting inundated, which is great, but they need it streamlined.
Exactly.
Another thing that they said is please do not fly your drones. They said other people's personal drones are causing problems. Do not fly your drones out there. When we were there, we're going to repeat that number again. It's 830-465-4794. That is if you want to volunteer or make those donations. But again, they are asking, please do not interrupt their search process. They have 400 first responders on the ground, 28 agencies, and they are searching via air with K9s, people on the ground, and using their drones to search.
And also, again, there's another process for the donations as well. They want to make sure that it's done right. Again, they're asking if you are interested in donating, you can visit the Community Foundation of Texas Hill Country. There is also another number listed there. So that is the number to call if you want to volunteer. The other number that you want to call if you're trying to get in touch with the foundation is very similar, but instead is 830-465-4797. So again, there's a very strategic process that they're going by as far as accepting volunteers and donations. And unfortunately, again, the death toll continues to rise. The next press conference is going to be taking place at 3 p.m.
It's going to be at 3, and this is all information as of 9. Again, just 59 people dead. That number has risen since yesterday. 38 adults, 21 children, 18 adults are still pending ID, and 4 children are still pending ID. They said the number of missing or unaccounted for has gone down from Camp Mystic from 29 to now 11 campers and 1 counselor. So we are keeping an eye on this situation. This was the numbers as of 9 o'clock this morning. They will give us more numbers at that 3 p.m. press conference, hopefully. This number just keeps going up, and it's hard. I think the only silver lining I can think about this is that the number of missing is going down, but unfortunately that number of dead is going up. And so it is hard to hear, and 59 dead from these floods. Let's just take a breath, because that is a lot. And, boots on the ground, they still have so much debris to go through. I mean, it's tremendous the amount of debris, trees, homes that they have to go through, hoping that if they do find someone stuck in a tree or under a home, that they'd be alive at this point. They are still calling this a rescue rather than a recovery situation, but it is tough. It is tough, and I really just pray for all of the families who have not found their loved ones at this time.
And you heard from Governor Greg Abbott saying that he's telling everybody to treat these operations as if these people are still alive. So again, we're going to be following this closely, and unfortunately, we're still dealing with rain in our forecast. Meteorologist Sarah Spivey, you've been kind of paying close attention to this, kind of giving people the heads up ahead of time.
That's right. We do have a flood watch in effect because we are expecting more rainfall on already soaked grounds, essentially. Now, the rain that's occurring in the hill country at the moment is not creating flooding, but it certainly, I'm sure, is creating a bit of nervousness. There's been flashes of lightning in the area that has experienced that extremely devastating flooding. And I think I just want to put this in perspective. The reason why there is such devastation is because of the volume of rain that fell in these areas. In fact, when we look at the rainfall in this area over July 4th, in a matter of hours, 12 inches of rain fell along 39, which hugs the river, the South Fork of the Guadalupe River. And putting that in a different perspective for you, that's 12 inches of rain over a large portion of the ground. That equals 100 billion gallons of water. It's estimated at that. That is more than the amount of water that falls over Niagara Falls in a day. That is way more. It's about 65 million in a day over Niagara Falls. 100 billion gallons of water flowing right into the Guadalupe River. The Guadalupe was swollen. Here's a recap of what happened and why people are finding bodies all along the river. It happened at night. Worst case scenario, heavy rain that didn't let up. By 4:35 in the morning, when people were sleeping, the river at Hunt rose to 29 feet. 10 minutes later, that wall of water came to Kerrville, rose to 23 feet. And then by the time it got to Center Point, where there's indications from that press conference that there's a large presence there at Center Point, as they are doing this rescue recovery effort. Around 7:15 in the morning on July 4th, that's when we saw the river rise to 21 feet in crest there before flowing into Comfort area, 35-foot crest by 11 o'clock. By this time of day, it was light outside. People were probably able to evacuate a little bit quicker. And so one of the reasons why we're seeing such recovery and rescue efforts north of Comfort is because it happened at night when people were sleeping. Then through the Kendall County area, we have a lot of winds and bends in the Guadalupe River. And eventually by the evening of July 4th, that river crest at Amon's Crossing at 50 feet before finally heading closer to Canyon Lake, where the Guadalupe River has been able to drain into Canyon Lake. It crested at Spring Branch yesterday morning at 5 o'clock. But we weren't done, because even though Canyon Lake was fairly empty at the time, we had a ton of rain along the area downstream of Canyon Lake along the Guadalupe River. And even right now, the stream flow is so intense in those areas. We can bring up the stream flow, the latest stream flow. Notice that downstream of Canyon Lake at New Braunfels, it's flowing at 566 cubic feet per second. That's well above the average. But farther downstream near Seguin, we're seeing stream flow of 4,000 cubic feet per second. Not only is that river fast, but that river's carrying debris still. And so the Guadalupe River is a dangerous place to be around, not necessarily because it's flooding right now, but because the waters are fast and the waters have a lot of debris in them. I want to go ahead and go back to talking about the weather situation for the day today. As you can see, there is some rain right now in western Kerr County, but it is not flooding. We do have some heavier rain falling right now in Uvalde County between Concan. Bring it back to me, thank you. We do have some showers occurring from Concan out to Uvalde, but again, these are moving, so they're not causing an immediate threat for flooding. As we look at the future cast, though, what you can notice is that we do have the potential to see an increase in coverage across the hill country later on today. As we get a little bit of that daytime heating head into that afternoon, these showers and storms can tap into that moisture more and become a bit of a problem. And that could even come into San Antonio as well. So because of those reasons, and because the grounds are completely saturated, there is a flood watch in effect, not only for San Antonio, but for all of these counties that you see here in green, as it's not guaranteed to see 2 to 4 inches of rain, but if you do get a heavy downpour, you could easily see 2 to 4 inches of rain. That would cause some localized flooding issues, and we'll keep you posted there. When will we dry out? Well, we start to see rain chances go away by Thursday and Friday. All right, where are we headed to next?
I think we're going to break, right?
Yeah, we're going to take a quick break. Sarah, thank you for that. And we are going to take a break after 11, come back on air at noon, continuing our wall-to-wall coverage. But stay with us. We'll be right back.
All right, welcome back. This is 10:31 right now. Again, we're still continuing our coverage over the details that we've had for this hill country floods. The death toll increasing on us. Again, not really great information or great news that we want to hear. 59 people dead, but right now we got new posts coming in through social media.
Yeah, this is Humble ISD has posted on their Facebook. They are grieving the devastating loss of Humble ISD teacher Jeff Wilson. They say he passed away due to the catastrophic flooding in Kerrville. Jack worked in Humble ISD for 30 years at both Humble High School and Kingwood Park High School. He was a beloved teacher and co-worker. Can we go back to that graphic, guys? He was a beloved teacher and co-worker to many and will be deeply missed. And Jeff's brother-in-law has shared that at this time, Jeff's wife, Amber, and son, Shiloh, still considered missing. Keep the entire family in your prayers. This is just one of the dozens of, social media posts that we are seeing. And I know there are so many. For example, this is the Zunker family who is also missing.
Yeah, Tivy boys soccer coach Reese Zunker and his wife Paula were among those who died. That team announced on Facebook Saturday night. Last check, the 2 children are still missing, reportedly swept away from their home in the Hunt area.
Do we have any more photos we're going to take at this time? Yeah, okay, we just heard from that press conference that just wrapped up, and just to recap, if we can put these numbers on the bottom of the screen here so our viewers know, I think this is the big takeaway from that press conference. The updated number has now risen to 59 people dead, 38 of them adults, 21 of them children. They still need the ID, 18 of those adults and 4 of those children. Another number that really stood out to us during that press conference, the Camp Mystic has 11 campers still missing. One of them is a counselor. That number went down from 29 yesterday. Unfortunately, that number going down means that several of those campers were found deceased, and that is hard. That is a hard one to take in. I'm getting a lot of text messages from friends who had classmates, whose children had classmates that were part of that out of University Park in Dallas. I went to SMU, and a lot of those families over there sending their kids to that camp, and it is truly devastating. There are so many people who either knows someone or as friends of someone who is connected to this tragedy out there, especially with these camps. And they have not given us a number, Jeff, of how many people are unaccounted for across the hill country because it is so vast and it's so unknown.
Yes, obviously today, again, those recovery efforts are underway, including the search to find all those who are missing because of the flooding. And as of this morning, family members have identified 12 people who are presumed missing. As of right now, 5 of the missing people among the 27 campers, and those numbers are not right. We're keeping these numbers updated as we speak.
So the Camp Mystic, the now missing is 11.
Right. So
one of them is a counselor, and this is one, Kellyanne Lytle, shared by her father. She has not been located. Do we have any other photos that we want to take of those that are missing? Here we go. These, this is a group of 22-year-olds from Beaumont.
Yeah, right now we got Kelly High School graduates that you're seeing here. Their names is Ella Cahill, Aiden Hartfield, Joyce Baden, and then Reese Manchaca. They were in the house in Hunt. They got swept away. This is off of Highway 39 in Hunt.
And that is a QR code. You can scan that and you can get any more information. If you have a loved one that you're looking for, scan that QR code. It's going to take you to this missing persons number, which is 830-258-1111.
And speaking of numbers, I do want to also mention this, okay? And they're trying to get this under control as far as being strategic as far as when people come to try to help or volunteer wherever they can. During the press conference, they did release this particular number we told you guys about, 830-465-4794. That is the number that you need to call if you want to volunteer. This will give them a chance to put you on a list. And if there is a chance for you to come out, or if they do need extra hands on deck, they will call you. That's the way they've been communicating that. And they're also asking for donations. If you were to make one, there's a way that you need to go about doing that as well. Again, donating, you got to visit the Community Foundation of Texas Hill Country. And there's another number that they have very similar to the volunteer number, which again, I'm pretty sure if you call that volunteer number, they will direct you to the right number to call as far as trying to give back in any kind of monetary donations that you can. And that number is 830-465-4797. But yes, that's where volunteers can go to register. We're just staying on top of this. Again, another press conference is going to start around 3 p.m. We're going to be here carrying that as well. But at this time, we're just kind of feeling this firsthand. The numbers are coming in as the morning is carrying on.
It is hard. It is hard to swallow these numbers. And it's unfortunate because I have this feeling that it's going to keep going up. 59 dead. They have so much that they still have to search through. If we've seen the devastating footage out there of all the debris that they have to go through. So we really applaud our first responders and volunteers for doing that hard work. But I do believe our Patty Santos is standing by live. Patty, what can you tell us?
Hey there, guys. So we have showed you the devastation, and this morning we are in church hoping to bring you a little hope. We are at Riverside Church of Christ. Look at all this water that's collected, toys, shampoo, deodorant, things that you know you need. Those things right there, toys donated by little kids here. And even behind here, some of the items that you would need if you don't have a home. Right now with me is Richard McAllister. You're one of the members of the church. You guys decided to put these together. In these bags it's food. You don't need electricity to put this food to use, and already some people have been coming in to put them to use.
That's right. It's shelf-stable food. You don't need refrigeration. You don't need a stove to fix it. Just come down, pick it up, and the meals are ready to eat.
And they have already started coming in. Some of the victims have already said, we're not going to have water. We're not going to have electricity for weeks.
Even people that have not lost their home may not have utilities in their home. They may not be able to get back into their home. So we're trying to reach everyone that has been displaced by the storm.
And this is one of the many organizations, one of the many churches that is doing something here for their community. You have had groups reach out to you saying, how can we help?
Yes, we've had a number of churches across the nation reach out to us last night and today, offering to get on a bus and come down and help us, or to provide financial support, or just to pray for the people of Kerrville. It's very heartwarming the outpouring of support nationwide.
And one of the things that they want to let you know right now is they don't need any more food. They don't need any more donations. They got this. They just need to get it out to the folks and continue to support this community.
That's right. Our biggest need right now is to know who needs help. So if you are in need of any of this, please get in contact with us. You can visit rscoc.org on the internet and make contact with us, or you can just drop by the church during those scheduled hours on the website.
And we have all that information as well on ksat.com. This is one of the locations we're going to stop at. We're going to go look at some of the other places that are giving back to their community during this time of pain. We'll send it back to you, ladies.
All right, Patty, thank you so much.
Thank you, Patty.
We're going to be checking in with her throughout this morning again as we prepare for the next press conference. Hopefully we get more numbers, see exactly what we're looking at from that front. But at this time, we're going to go to break for a quick little second. We'll be right back after this. All right, welcome back. It is 10:42. Again, the latest update, our numbers coming into the newsroom from that presser that just happened not too long ago. 59 people dead as we speak, 38 of them adult, 21 children.
That's right. The number from missing campers at Camp Mystic has gone down from 29 to 11. Unfortunately, that's because a lot of them have been presumed dead. So 11 Camp Mystic campers still missing, one counselor still unaccounted for. And those search efforts continue. They have so much debris to go through. And Sarah, they are still having to potentially deal with the weather out there.
Yes, they are, because we are seeing some rain. But here's the good news about this rain. It is not causing any flooding at the moment. You can see that we do have some of the heavier rainfall that's falling just west of Concan, but that's a passing shower. It's going to move on through really quickly. Up in Kerr County, they've got some light rain at the moment falling in Hunt and Ingram, where the search and rescue efforts continue. The thing is, though, is that the ground is completely saturated. I'm going to show you across the state of Texas the rainfall that we have seen. Look at this. This is the rain that we've seen in Texas. Here's Austin, here's San Antonio, there's San Angelo, where there was also devastating flooding. The ground is completely saturated here. Anywhere you see those purples, that's easily 7 inches of rain. Anywhere you see the white color, that's where we've got a foot plus of rainfall that has fallen. So the ground cannot take any more water before it starts to flood. And as we look at the larger picture, way up high above us, there's that low pressure system that has been so devastating. It's finally starting to move, but it's still overhead. And so that rain bomb is still overhead and capable of producing very, very, very high rainfall rates from showers and storms. Now, as I mentioned, here in San Antonio and across Texas right now, since the rain has soaked the ground, we're at the risk for some flooding. When we look at where the rain is happening right now, it's just light, and we're even starting to see some sunshine in some places. And let's go ahead and I'm going to show you the KSAT Connect. So KSAT Connect is the way that you can send in your pictures and videos, and I'm going to clear this bar before I do this so that you can see the whole shot here. This is our KSAT Connect website that I'm bringing up. And I want to show you some of these pictures and videos that have been sent in. Look at this. This is just from 2 hours ago out in New Braunfels. Beautiful skies after days of devastation. And it has been days of devastation. Even in New Braunfels, the river flooded there from all the heavy rain. But you can see this is a look at all of our pictures and videos that are coming in from the last couple of days. We would love to see some more there. What I'm going to do here is I'm on a website, and I'm going to go and look at the satellite imagery that we're seeing across our viewing area. This is just another thing I have capability to do. I've got to fix this thing, if you'll bear with me for a second, because I want to show you there are areas that are getting sunshine right now after all of the devastating rain. Here's San Antonio. There's Austin. We're going to wait for the data to load here, but you will see that we're going to be seeing some sunshine here very quickly. I'm going to let that data load, and I'm going to go ahead and bring up our radar again, just so that everybody can. There we go. There's the sunrise. Here's San Antonio. We've got peaks of sunshine through those clouds. It's still fairly cloudy west of San Antonio, though. Now that sun, I'm going to be honest with you, is a bit of a double-edged sword, and I'll tell you why. The sun acts as fuel for more showers and storms. So as we go back to the radar, right now all we've been seeing is a few downpours that have come and gone. But as we get closer and closer to the afternoon hours, and we get a little bit more fuel from the sun in the form of warmth, we could easily see these harmless showers become heavier rainstorms that produce some intense flooding. When we look at the areas that are under the watch, the flood watch, remember a watch means we're watching out for the potential for flooding. If you get a warning, that means flooding is happening and you need to take action. But we're going to be watching for flooding until at least 7 p.m., not only here in San Antonio, but across the hill country, but also all the way north toward the Dallas-Fort Worth area. This is where flooding is going to be possible today. Not guaranteed, but possible. We could see 2 to 4 inches of rain in spots with localized 5+ inches of rainfall. In fact, we've already got a flood warning for San Saba County because of all of the heavier rain that's fallen in that area this morning. We've got a flood warning there until about 10 o'clock. The river there is flooding. The San Saba River is flooding. And we'll be watching this very, very carefully throughout the day today. I can show you the futurecast, and that's an idea of kind of what we could see potentially this afternoon. I do agree with the futurecast showing showers and storms blossoming more so this afternoon. Doesn't mean they're going to fall in these areas, but just that there is that potential for more rain in the afternoon, even all the way down here to San Antonio. But watch what happens after the sun sets. This is 8:45. Watch what happens after the sun sets. The rain goes away because it loses that fuel. Then as we get closer and closer to sunrise, we could once again see a few more showers and storms tomorrow. Tomorrow we could see a few more showers and storms. The thing to know, though, is the coverage tomorrow should be a lot less. I'm going to go ahead and show you the 7-day forecast here, just to give you a quick view of what we can see in the coming days. Today, there's about a 40% chance for you to see showers and storms in your backyard. Monday, 30%. But look at that. By Tuesday, rain chances go right back up. Doesn't mean it's necessarily going to flood on Tuesday, but we have higher chance for some showers and storms on Tuesday. By then, hopefully, we'll see some of the ground dry up a little bit. And then we finally do see our weather pattern become quieter by Thursday of next week. Sarah, Jaffney.
Sarah, thank you. An update here. The Hunt Post Office on Highway 39 is temporarily shut down due to building damage. Very understandable there. All postal operations, including P.O. Box service for the Hunt Post Office, have been moved to the Ingram Post Office off of the Junction Highway. Hours of operation you can see are listed on your screen.
All right, San Antonio Pets Alive has launched an emergency donation drive to support both Kerrville Pets Alive and the many families affected. And the organization accepting those donations of both pet supplies and human essentials, which will be delivered to Kerrville area once collected. But the donation drive will run starting today through Wednesday, July 9th, and you can drop off at the 2 locations at your screen.
Yeah, so here are some of the items they need: towels, blankets, new or gently used clothing, and socks and shoes. So just take a look at that graphic of the things they need: human supplies and pet supplies. That is how you can help out. We are going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Governor Greg Abbott declaring yesterday a day of prayer. I'm sorry, declared yesterday that today is a day of prayer. You can see what he said.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott named again, as she mentioned, day of prayer throughout the day of people that are impacted by the floods. In this particular statement, he says, quote, "Even as floodwaters rage, neighbors rushed in to rescue, comfort, and bring hope in the times of loss. We turn to God for comfort, healing, and strength. I urge every Texan to join me in prayer this Sunday," which is today. Now, the President of the United States and several other state leaders, including Senator Ted Cruz and John Cornyn, have also offered their support at this time.
In just a little bit at 11 a.m., the San Antonio Archbishop Gustavo Garcia Sierra, He is going to be in Kerrville at the Catholic Notre Dame Church. It's currently serving as one of the reunification shelters for those impacted by these floods. He's going to be the main celebrant there, presiding over Mass. In the recent days, he's also visited the affected families to offer prayer, support, and comfort. That is at 909 Main Street in Kerrville. I'm sure that Mass is going to be packed, along with, I do know it was the Methodist Church on Thompson Place, or no, the Methodist Church, I believe, in Ingram, in Hunt, or near Hunt, is also going to be having a church service there. I know a lot of these church services are most likely going to be packed today.
Oh, yes.
It's a time where the community is just getting together and praying, and it's been tough on all of us. That death toll rising to 59 that we just heard at that press conference, 38 of them adults, 21 children, and that Camp Mystic number, which was 29 campers missing, has gone down to 11 campers and 1 counselor. Unfortunately, when we see those numbers of missing go down, it usually means that the bodies were recovered. So it's a tragedy all around. Seeing the devastation, especially at that camp. I've seen photos and video of, the top bunks just completely covered in dirt. We're seeing lots of things on social media about these stories of those that were rescued and the terrifying waters that came into those cabins. It's horrific, and I know this is a lot for our community, and it's horrible to see that number go up, and unfortunately I fear it will continue to go up just because so many people are still unaccounted for, Jeff. We don't have a number.
And then at this time right now, with those people and that unknown number of people who aren't accounted for, we do have several assets and resources on the ground that have been working around the clock to try to not only rescue people, recover people, bring that sense of closure to families who are still waiting.